This is a short video for Marston Holdings about ProgrammExpress, the portfolio program and project tracking and reporting solution. Just using a demo system. Obviously, you have your own system and your own data, but easier to demonstrate and show the power of ProgrammExpress through demo data. Web-based solution, cloud-based, it's on Microsoft Azure. And login screen, if we log on as an administrator, you can be an administrator, a write, access, or a read-only user. Administrator can see and do everything, and also has their own functionality for customization changes. Takes us straight into our home screen. Obviously, your configuration and structure is different, but this is just for demonstration purposes. So we have Marston Holdings at the top level, the umbrella level, and then we have programs that sit underneath. And if we expand the programs, we can then see the projects that sit within the programs that then ultimately sit within the portfolio. Now, this home screen shows a dashboard of the health in terms of RAG status of a project, broken down by the various modules, shown here as icons, better shown through the Updates tab with the functionality of further details, narrative commentary, screen planning, resource tracking, cost management, benefit realization, impact management, risk registers and logs, which can be whatever you configure, actions, issues, decisions. So from here, we have a sort of projects website structured in a very project management way, showing all the projects, showing the health of the projects. And the real power of ProgrammExpress is in the reporting. So I'll come back to it. Expectation that project managers will enter data into the various modules as their status updates. And what that then allows is automatic and real-time reporting. So if I go to my top level Marston Holdings, I can run these reports from any level, and I can go to shared reports, which have been configured from the reporting screen. And I open up the reports and I run, for example, our bread and butter is a RAG status summary report. This will consolidate more of a program level, one line per project report, which will show here the projects and whatever we've configured this report to be. So we've got project manager column, start and end date, the latest costs, just the high level RAG status of the project. And then we have some narrative commentary threads. And for this example, we've got overall focus for next period, decisions and escalations. These can be configured to be whatever you want, and then the reports can be set up. But that is an example of a consolidated Excel style report that can be done automatically and in real time. So there's one example. And then if I move to another example, let's have more detail about the projects. So we can go to our one-page summary. Now this is filtered by projects that have a status of active. So I go to our one-page summary. What this will do is we'll generate sort of like a plan on a page type report that can be downloaded into PowerPoint, and it will show a project, its timeline, and then some commentary information. Again, whatever you've configured to be the commentary threads for this report. But what I have is 13 active projects and showing the plan on a page for each of those projects. Again, very simple, one click to do from the top level. I might want to have a one-page project overview, which is more of a project highlight report, a bit more detail. So we've configured one which runs from the top level, filtered by probably on hold and started and initiated projects. We have 25 now. Same data, but just a different print or style format. So we've got more of a Gantt chart, we've got some risks and actions, just a bit more detail about each of the projects. And you can have as much detail as you want. So this is just an example. Or you may want to have a look at the plan of every single project across the portfolio. So I'm going to run my reporting pack Gantt chart. So what we can see here is the high level plan for all projects, and it will be showing here the projects, the phases, and typical Gantt chart format, but we're showing red, amber, green, and green means it's on track, and red means that's a key milestone that's missed and will automatically turn the project red in terms of its plan, and amber means forecasting to be later than expected. So we have planned dates and we have forecast dates, and if the forecast exceeds the planned date, that alerts us that it's not what the steering group or the governance panel approved. But again, we now have every single plan for every single project sitting within here, and a lot more. So I could go, let's filter. So our risks will be entered into each project by the project manager. Your governance can decide whether they just put the top 3 risks in, they use it as the total risk register, or just the red risks. But here, what we're doing is we're filtering and saying, let's have a look at the red risks across all of the projects. So that's filtered now, and we can just see high level red risks across all the projects. Now we can do that for issues, we can do that for decisions, we can do that for change request, scope, change, anything that you configure, we can report by. And then one other, as an example, resource usage summary. So if you want to track resourcing, you can do so. And then again, we will have an Excel style format resource usage report, which shows all our resources, what projects they are actively assigned to, and whether they are under or over allocated. So we have an example here of the makeup of one resource who's available 3 days a week to work on projects, totally over allocated, probably can't see the numbers, but aggregates up to tell you that there is a problem with that specific resource. You can actually look at resource usage, you can look at skill usage, and you can look at availability by resource. So plenty of other different types of resource reports specifically. Now, one further thing is that once we have the project structure set up, you can set up your own portfolio. So an example here would be, we've got top 10 priority projects. Now, all the reports that I've shown you, we could now run by the portfolio. So just one example in this case, the RAG status report, by whatever we've wired into the portfolio. So there we will just see the projects that have been wired in. And the way to change your wiring is go into the settings and the wiring function, and you can start to take projects off that, or you can start to move other projects in just by dragging and dropping and saving, and then you will be able to run all of those reports by a new portfolio. You can create that portfolio and make it unavailable to anybody else, so it doesn't sort of like make a mess of the screen. So that's the experience for somebody really who's viewing. They can see the projects, they can move about, they can see the data, they can see the reports, and the whole idea really is that we have simple, consistent data inputs which speed up the status update process and allow us to have reports in real-time, consolidated and aggregated form, and taking away the administration, and also taking and allowing it to be real-time rather than taking a week for the PMO to start to consolidate and put the information together. But how do we get that data in there? So if I log on, not as an administrator, as a user, I'm going to log on as myself and Wilson. Now we've got the same home screen here, but we have a difference in that it's now filtered by what I've been given right access to. So there's plenty of user access rights, what projects I've been given access to, and what modules I'm expected to update. So we'll see here a big gap. So here I'm expected to update commentary. I'm expected to update the plan, and I'm expected to update resources. So I can go into a project, fulfillment process review. I go into the commentary screen. I make an update. Whatever the latest update is will appear on this screen. My achieved last period, I can change, I can add a new comment. I add a new comment for focus next period. And if anything's red, I'll be expected to put a some narrative commentary as to why it's red, the decisions or the benefits or whatever. So I've moved through and made my update from that perspective. Then I then go to my plan. I have a look at my plan showing graphically here using fusion charts, and then I've got a sort of rather poor looking plan here which I will be requested to or required to update. So the way I could do that's a bit like Microsoft projects. I could select the top project or the top task. I can adjust and I can say, well, actually, rather unhealthy, let's change the dates and start again. We'll start it from next week, March the 27th, and we'll apply that change to all tasks. We'll re-baseline the original dates and we'll save that. And we've now got a revised plan for that specific project. And we can change the dates, change the original, change the current. So that's made a change there. And then I can look at my resources. I can see what resources are working on the project. All of these resources, I can click on them specifically. The example earlier was Charlie Wilson was slightly overexposed. That's the reason. Available 3 days a week, required 2 days a week or 2.5, 3 days a week on this project specifically, but also shows you the allocation of that person across other projects. So that's my update. That's all that's been required of me. I'll go back to home. I can set up my own reports, which nobody else can see. And I'll say, well, what does that look like now with my amendments? So I'm going to run a project overview report. You'll see the change where I put overall update for Marston's. That's the plan now, turned it green. And then we've got risks, and we've got logs and lessons learned. So I can say, right, happy with that. Should take about 15 minutes to make my update. Everybody's updating in the same type of format, so we've got no inconsistency. So that's a very quick way to show how to update projects. Back into the administrator screen. You can see that we white label and yours has already been done, and we can change the fonts or the color palettes if the branding starts to change. But we're back to where we were before. If I wanted to, I could filter only projects that have a red or projects that have a red and an amber. I can also look at having a dashboard which will show the health via a dashboard for the total portfolio. Shows where we've got some reds, and if we want to, we can actually run reports of exceptions. So I'm drawn to the plan, the 62 late milestones. I can actually run that report and it will show those 62 late milestones. I can run that at any level. I can run that at my top 10 priority projects that we wired in and set up earlier. And then finally, one thing that we can do into the reporting screen, which I've gone in the top 10 priority projects, which I don't want to. So on the top right, I can go up a level. We can see here all the different types of reports. I haven't shown you them all the different types of reports. One key thing, we can look at saved reports. We can take a RAG status summary, for example, and we can go to favorites. We can copy the link. We can send the link to a stakeholder. They can add it to their favorites toolbar, and they can be running that report real time whenever they want. So just to make it easy for read-only users, don't really need any training, just some links that can be sent out to them, and they have visibility of everything that happens. So one other thing is that we have a data export function, and we can decide within that data export function what we specifically want to export, how, like a zip file of different types of information, all modules, and we can export as a CSV. So some of our users may have an FTP weekly over obviously all the CSV files of the data, which they may want to put into their own business intelligence tools. So that really sort of like concludes the short demo. Hope it helps, and obviously if there's a further real-time Teams demo wants to be set up, then please shout. Obviously it's in our interest that you start to use and you configure it correctly. So that concludes the short video. So thank you very much for watching.